The President's Three Deadly Addictions. President Yoon unequivocally presented himself to domestic and international audience as a wrongdoer, ill-guided by his misconception during his defiant and most explicit public address last Thursday. Many people would have somewhat sympathized with his loathing and condemnation of overreaching abuses by the majority opposition party. Still, few would agree that the political setbacks justified his descent to the extreme aberration of resorting to a martial law decree associated with the military coup. The first is an addiction to power. Yoon was famous in his prosecutorial career for not letting go of his target until he got his indictment. He sent high-profile figures, including former and sitting presidents, to prison, feeding a strong confidence in the might of his power as a prosecutor. He could have come to believe that there was no one he could not overwhelm. In his book, The Winner Effect: How Power Affects Your Brain, Ian Robertson, a professor of psychology at Trinity College, Dublin, claimed that power can be as addictive as cocaine in the way it increased dopamine in the brain's reward system to give extreme short-term pleasure and long-term addiction. Too much dopamine or an appetite for power can disrupt the normal cognition and the emotion to lead to gross errors of judgment and imperviousness to risk, not to mention huge egocentricity and the lack of empathy for others. Yoon's second addiction is YouTube. The president reportedly relies more on YouTube channels to learn global news than traditional print and TV news. He personally advised his aides to watch his favorite channels. YouTube, a platform dependent on subscribers, hardly can provide objective and balanced perspective because it caters to a restricted audience. Its contents are mostly sensational, skewed, and unverified. Watching rightist channels could have released his stress, while traditional media mostly find fault in state management. These channels attribute all the setbacks to pro-Pyongyang anti-state forces threatening the free democratic order. He had watched too many trashy YouTube videos. Then there is the alcohol addiction. Yoon has been a heavy drinker for decades. Frequent alcohol intake damages brain regions, including the frontal lobe, responsible for pivotal human function, including restraint, reasoning, and decision-making. When the frontal lobe weakens from excessive and lengthy alcohol consumption, one can lose control over their emotion and temper. The symptoms can continue even without drinking. Yoon should have had treatment for alcohol use disorder. Then he could have saved himself from a dreadful and epic pratfall. He has caused colossal harm to himself and his nation due to his alcohol-induced misjudgment. He should cut down on drinking in the new year.